Under this Prime Minister, Australia has entered its first recession in 3 decades. Australia now has an effective unemployment rate of 11.3%. How many unemployed Australians don't have a job because the Prime Minister deliberately excluded them from JobKeeper?
The Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, no one in this country is unemployed because of the government's responses. Mr Speaker, no one is unemployed because of the government's responses. People are unemployed in this country, Mr Speaker. People have been reduced to 0 hours, which is the same thing, Mr Speaker. People have been hit by the coronavirus pandemic, Mr Speaker. And, Mr Speaker, I am disappointed that the Leader of the Opposition, while Australians each and every day
the Prime Minister
will
pause. The member for Lawler will leave under Standing Order 94A, and I warn all those others interjecting, particularly those who I've asked to stop interjecting all of this week. The Prime Minister has the call.
Mr Speaker, Australians today are dealing with the news of some 270,000, almost half of those young people, Mr Speaker, of having lost their jobs in May, and we know there will be more because of the recession Australia now finds itself in because of the pandemic. And for the Leader of the Opposition to come here to this dispatch box and seek to turn that recession into some sort of partisan accusation, Mr Speaker, demonstrates not only his complete lack of understanding of economics, Mr Speaker, but an inability. The
Prime Minister will resume his seat. Members on my left and right will cease interjecting. The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order.
Thanks, Mr Speaker. On direct relevance, to be directly relevant, the Prime Minister can refer to Donata workers, arts and entertainment workers, 1 million casuals. There's plenty of examples to be relevant with.
Will resume his seat. I understand the point the Manager of Opposition Business is making, but all of the points he just made weren't in the question. The Prime Minister has the call.
Speaker, JobKeeper and JobSeeker expand the full economy of Australia. And what our government has been doing has been responding to the needs of those Australians. This Leader of the Opposition, in the midst of a debacle and corruption scandal that he has overseen, Mr Speaker, corruption, a word that his own Labor member has used to describe
his seat. The Prime Minister will resume his seat. The Manager of Opposition Business will resume his seat. The Prime Minister needs to withdraw that imputation.
Mr Speaker, on the point of order.
No, members on my left, the member for Kingston. The member for Kingston will cease interjecting. There's going to be no debate. The Prime Minister needs to withdraw that imputation.
Well, Mr Speaker, if you would allow me,
I'm just going to say to the Prime Minister, he just needs to withdraw. There was no point of order. I've made a ruling.
Mr Speaker, I was not impugning a motive to the Leader of the Opposition. Mr Speaker, I was referring to the word corruption which was used by the member for Holt to explain the investigation underway. That's what I was referring to and was going on, Mr Speaker, to explain in my answer. That is what I was referring to. It is the word used by the member for Holt. The member for Holt said corruption. But, Mr Speaker, to assist you and to respect your ruling, it's got nothing to do with you. You can sit down. You've already had your point of order. I'm seeking to make the withdrawal.
Manager of Opposition Business will just resume his seat. Members on both sides. The Prime Minister.
To assist the Speaker and out of respect for the Speaker, I withdraw, Mr Speaker.
The Manager of Opposition Business on a point of order. The member for Kingston is making it even more difficult for the Manager of Opposition Business. And I'm just going to say I will deal with any interjections during this period in the way members can predict. I find it incredible that they want me to rule on a point of order while simultaneously shrieking at me. The Manager of Opposition Business.
Mr Speaker, on a point of order, practice is clear that when a ruling is given that a member must withdraw, they must withdraw without any qualifiers attached.
And that I'm very conscious of that, and I'm just going to say to the Manager of Opposition Business, the Prime Minister has withdrawn, and he didn't have qualifiers. The qualifiers you're referring to in practice are when there's another set of words added. There are two ways you can withdraw. I've asked the Prime Minister to withdraw, and he has done so. And I'm going to remind members on both sides that the rules for this place are very clear. You cannot reflect on members or impute motives in any way, shape or form. We could end question time and I could discuss all the precedents going back many decades if you like to, and that refers to groups of people as well. Otherwise we'll have a situation that we had in the 1970s where a group were imputed, and the initial ruling had been that it had to apply to individual members, and we had a procession of members getting up on the same point of order.